We're showing you live pictures right now of Air Force One just landing in Los Angeles. This as CNN is getting new information about an armed suspect who was arrested at one of President Trump's golf clubs, one of his clubs in Southern California. The president will be on his way to that very same golf course right now. Let's get back to Kristen Holmes, who's at the White House. Kristen, I know you've been speaking to sources. What are you picking up on this?
Well, Kate, look, the Secret Service is still doing their investigation to see what, if any, threat this man posed to President Trump. We'll remind you this happened on Sunday, and President Trump is now there on Tuesday. But just because of the timing doesn't mean there wasn't something in the works. And I will note what we've learned that they basically arrested him for, or at least detained him for originally, and were suspicious of, was the fact that he seemed to be monitoring, quote, security planning activities. He was taking videos and photos of the grounds and any kind of security that they were putting in place. The reason why this is so significant is if you go back to the multiple assassination attempts on President Trump, one of them being at his golf club in Florida, we know that that individual had been essentially casing that golf club for a number of days. Even the day of, he sat there for hours waiting for the president. He was learning the schedule, his routine when he was at the golf club. So anything like that is likely to raise alarm bells. Now, we also know that this individual is also under investigation for a burglary. So he has other issues here going on. But the big question right now, of course, is what was his intention there? And was the president at any point going to be threatened by him?
And Kristen, you've been to this golf club, traveling with the president. What is the security situation just in general there?
Well, I would imagine an individual like this would stick out like a sore thumb, just given how open this space is. When I was there last time during a campaign event, there were a number of security concerns around President Trump. That's because it's located on the water, and they were concerned about making sure they had enough blocking in the water because President Trump was going to speak outside. There's also a big building with lots of windows there that President Trump was in the main area. So they obviously wanted to make sure it's secured from all angles. When you have something that's on a bluff, on a body of water, it's a lot harder. So you have Coast Guard out there in the water. They were actually more concerned about any kind of drones at the time than they were about someone actually storming the area, because it is somewhat secluded. It's down a cliff. And like I said, it's a very open, sprawling golf course. So it'd be easier to spot somebody walking around. But there again were concerns at that point that they might need to ramp up security because of how open it is.